All is well with everybody. Welcome in. We're going to get started for today. If you are new here and do not know who I am, hi, my name is Kendra. I'm a plant-based lifestyle strategist. I'm here to help you and support you in understanding exactly what is going on with our food industry, breaking down what's going on with our health and structure over stimulation is what we've been talking about for this week. So we're going to dive deeper into understanding how to regulate and balance your blood sugar and that inflammation that a lot of people are dealing with, and really learning why healing requires more than just information and knowledge about the subject, diving into the space of why plant-based foods support you and how they support you, and learning how diet culture and what we're taught into what is healthy has not supported us in completely changing our health, completely shifting away from having these chronic illnesses and diseases, having an overload of inflammation. So if you are in the space where you are looking for support, hold on, let me fix this over on TikTok. You're looking for support and guidance into understanding how to get rid of the symptoms that you're having, get rid of the issues that you have going on. This is the space and this is the place for you. We are living in a stimulation culture. We are in a space where everything is quick, fast, right? We want fast food. We want meals that are quick. We want urgency. We have urgency of getting back to work, short and limited amount of time for lunch breaks. And everything is promising results now. So if you were following diet culture, Jenny Craig and Weight Watchers, that whole like mantra of 20 pounds in 20 days, and this is how we're going to do it, right? This is how we're going to lose all this weight before we go on our trip. These quick fixes are not getting us the solutions and the results that we are looking for. So why do we keep doing them? Why do we keep following crash plans, crash diets, these whole yo-yo dieting plans? Because they have extreme protocols and extreme restrictions and these motivation spikes behind them, but we never are able to sustain the results. Why is that? Why are we never in a space that helps us be able to sustain our health, to be able to not only release exhaustion and to be able to not feel like that we are having the issue of fatigue every day or bloating and etc.? How come this only lasts when I'm doing a diet, right? You have to really think of the deeper, bigger picture behind it, because it's not just because you are lazy or that you're lacking discipline or that you lack motivation today, so that means that you can't do it. But it's understanding that you are in a stimulation culture that does not help you be able to prepare for the hard days. It does not help you be able to prepare for your body itself when it comes to the feminine, and understanding what phase and cycle phase you are in, and understanding how that impacts your energy. It's going to impact your motivation and your discipline, how it's going to impact the things that you want to eat or the things that you should eat. And you fall in this space of settling for diet, settling for whatever weight that you're currently at, settling for the space of thinking that I'm a woman, this is how I have to live, I'm going to suffer for the rest of my life because I have a menstrual cycle, right? Your nervous system is not designed to operate in a space of chaos, but this is what society has placed us in, a space of chaos, and we're supposed to navigate our way through it every single day. And then we wonder why, as we get older, we develop all these number of issues with inflammation, blood sugar regulation, insulin resistance, and you cannot figure out why your hormones have not regulated over these years, or why you've never had a stable cycle or stable hormones. And even through the pressure of, maybe let's say you do the diet or you take this supplement or you're on birth control, and you fall into that stigma of believing that everything has to be an intense active plan for you to be able to take care of yourself, that it has to be completely uncomfortable, like eating salads for diets, or you sitting here calorie counting and restricting and not having enough, so you're starving all throughout the day. That puts pressure on your body. And do you realize what that does to your nervous system and how it disrupts your body? Still operating in this space of chaos. That's what it is. It's a box of chaos. Your metabolism does not want to reverse or heal itself or balance itself through the intensity of you operating in this chaotic state. It does not want to, nor does it feel safe to, help you out in this space. But when you have structure, when you have a space that not only communicates to your body that, hey, we're safe, we can keep doing this, this is a comfortable place and a sustainable place. When you communicate that to your body, rather, that's what I'd rather say. When you do communicate that to your body, that you have structure, that you have that comfortability, that you have that calm, clear, respectful response to your body's symptoms that it's giving you, you actually have a space where your body can calm down and stop operating on a I have to survive mantra. I have to get through the day mantra. I have to keep pushing through. I have to keep working overtime. Instead, it can say, you know what, I can trust you. After this meal, you're going to balance my blood sugar. And I've talked about this all the time for the people who have diagnosis that have gone to the doctor or that are tired of dealing and going back and forth with prescriptions, medications, suggested surgeries, doing all these different labs and things, and you know what's going on, but you can't pinpoint how to fix what you have going on, right? Doctors are essential for diagnosing. They diagnose, they monitor, and they manage disease prevention, right? We know this, and we know what the point of a doctor is. But they are not trained how to help you have that daily structure, daily metabolic structure, daily structure to balance your blood sugar, your insulin, your hormones. So when you are taught in a space of pathology like they are, which is pharmacology, which is them just learning how to use pharmaceuticals in a way to help you manage, this is acute intervention. That means it's surface level, basic. It's never going to help you get to the roots. So instead, what you are going to have is surface level solutions, things that are never going to help you actually be able to change and reverse. But instead, they're going to keep you maintained, just like a car that needs an oil change, but all you're doing is continuously just putting gas in it. Like, yes, it's going to get you to point A and B at some point in some way, shape, or form. But after so long of you doing that, you are not only depleting your car's value, but also breaking it down each time you take off and you start driving and you use it day to day. And so then eventually it's going to break down. You're going to have deeper issues, more issues that you have to fix. And that's what your body is operating on. A space where you're putting all this different gas in it, but you're not oiling the machine. So it's not well fed. So mealtime structure, mealtime architecture rather, is what they're not taught. They're not taught how to have blood sugar pattern recognition to help you be able to reverse what you have going on by breaking down exactly what you're doing and making a plan to fix it. They don't have habit pattern designs that allow you to be able to stay in a healthy lifestyle and understand how you've gotten to this space. Because they're not taught these things. They're not taught how to stabilize your nervous system with healthy habits. They are taught how to teach you diet culture and pharmaceutical culture. They don't teach you how to live an anti-inflammatory life through a framework of you using food as your medicine. They teach you how to go get an Advil or an Aleve or something that's going to help you minimize your inflammation instead of eating anti-inflammatory foods. So when you want your labs to shift, when you want your test results to shift, when you want to go to the doctor and be confident that you're not going to walk out with a new diagnosis and a new pill, you don't want to have something else to monitor. You will stop with this temporary solution of Band-Aids and stimulation, because management is not just you having a space of, okay, well, I'm going to take care of myself 1 minute and take this prescription and I'm going to go back to the doctor and maybe it'll fix itself, because it's not going to. It's about you having restoration, having those restoration habits. Restoration lives in structure, not stimulation. So management is not the same as restoration. You have to have structure and you trying to reverse. So all these people are out here with all this knowledge, with all this information about how to take care of their body or their diabetes and how much iron you need daily and how much you need of this and X, Y, and Z. And then you're sitting back and you have all of this knowledge, right? Because we're well informed today. Too much information is on the internet and too much of it is absorbed daily. That's why our short-term memory is so bad nowadays. Reason why people's attention spans are so bad nowadays. There's all this information being fed. We're not underfed information. We're not uninformed. We're reading books, we're saving posts, listening to podcasts, trying all these different plans and diets, right? But the information is not regulating you. The information that you are getting is not driving you to action. The information that you are getting is not changing anything for you because it's just noise. It has become noise. This information without any integration in your life is noise. It's just like you're watching something on TV that is fiction. Like it's never going to apply and help you in life. It's just something to entertain you. And so instead of you entertaining yourself with the thought of being healthy and the thought of taking care of yourself and the thought of being better, why not start learning the knowledge that we need and understanding that knowledge and then applying that by living the way with structure? Because when you have that structure and you're living in that space of structure, it makes change inevitable. It's going to happen when you have the set plan that allows structure to thrive, whether you're having a good day, a bad day. And that's what I give. I don't just sit here and just give you a bunch of knowledge. I don't just give you a bunch of entertainment. I build an environment that helps you be able to reverse and to heal what you have going on. And that becomes the default. It's not something that is the end all be all goal. That is the default. That is the same way that how you have an automatic and a manual car, it becomes the automatic. It becomes something that's a subconscious thought. It just happens. And when it does, you hit that milestone and you weren't even thinking about the milestones anymore. You're just like, oh, I remember this. I remember when I was going through that. That's crazy. I don't even remember. I don't even have that anymore. They're directly correlated. Everything is connected. I've talked about that many times. If you've missed any of those lives, if you've missed any of those conversations, they are posted on my YouTube. How everything is connected. It is not a separate system. Not a single part of you is separate. And that's why I bring together and to allow you to understand the regulation between inflammation, your blood sugar, and your insulin. Because those are key factors that people are not realizing, that they're projecting to make $1 trillion profit off of you by 2030. They are literally projecting for over $1 trillion profit off of people being overweight and diabetic. We know how many commercials are coming out nowadays about people's GLP-1 or whatever the heck it's called. GLP-1, I think that's what it's called. I think that's what it's called, with their blood sugar medications that they're giving you that are supposed to help you be able to lose weight, and your blood sugar is supposed to be regulated and all those different things that they're telling you so that you either don't develop diabetes, or if you have insulin resistance, or if you have diabetes to help you manage it. It's not a coincidence. I have been saying this since 2022, 2023. It's not a coincidence that now that we're in 2026, closer to 2030, and all of these commercials about diabetes are coming out. It's not funny, even though I'm smiling and I'm bringing it to you in a space and a light that is airy and that is comfortable. It's about recognition and understanding, because they are pushing it in your face. These celebrities are looking sick because they're all on these GLP-1s to help you lose weight. The whole skinny culture is coming back because we're in a starvation diet mentality now, because we're lacking resources, and people are really in reality lacking funds to be able to pay for the things that they used to pay for. So they're preparing people to look like they're starving. If everybody's going to look like they're starving, not everybody, but there's going to be a handful of people, because we're going to lack resources. And then on top of that, everybody's going to get on these GLP-1s that are destroying your gut biome, and they're destroying your digestive tract, and they're also throwing off your nervous system. They're preparing for people to look malnourished because people are going to be malnourished. They're preparing you to be comfortable in a space that is not supposed to be comfortable. It's just the same how I talked about before with eating disorders. And if you missed that, go check that out as well. It's on my YouTube. Because when you don't have structure and all you live off of stimulation, and that's all they do is stimulate us with everything, with media, with food and everything else, structure seems scary. And stimulation is very comfortable. And that's what they do. They stimulate your mind to get you comfortable right now. And then when everything goes a disarray and they stress you out completely, because they're the same people that make you feel comfortable that stress you out, then they give you something else to make you feel comfortable. They've stressed your body completely out with not enough protein, not enough healthy fiber, not enough healthy fats. All they give you is a whole bunch of sodium, unhealthy fats, a whole bunch of carbs, no protein in your snacks and your food. And they've done this for years. And now they know people are malnourished. So guess what they did? Flip the pyramids upside down. Now they're putting all these protein labels on everything. Now all of a sudden they're telling you all about these GLP-1s that you can get on, and you can help manage your issues that you have going on that they caused. This is why I say we have to stop following into this whole stimulation culture. And we have to teach ourselves how structure stabilizes the body. So, in order for you to understand how you are stabilizing or you are needing to stabilize your blood sugar, needing to stabilize yourself so that you do have a healthy weight, a healthy body, you have to have meal times that are predictable, or rather, meals themselves that are predictable. Because, yes, the time may shift of when you eat, but if your body knows when I do break my fast, when I do eat, thank you for the follow, I'm not going to completely throw my body into a disarray. It trusts you to do that fast so it doesn't hold on to all the foods that you eat that day. So that way you're not sitting here dealing with a high blood sugar, a high fasting blood sugar, a high fasting insulin, and you're sitting here dealing with the fact that your glucose keeps rising and spiking every time you're eating. So instead of having those spikes, let's have no spikes, which equal no crashes. No crashes equals no emergency hunger. Because when you are sitting in that space where you get to the point where now you're just so hungry and you can't figure out what you want to eat, so then you're just grabbing any and everything, and you're like, okay, well, I have to eat something, right? And so you're trying to figure out what you're going to eat, and you're just throwing things together, and it might not be the best thing, but as long as you're filling your stomach, that is the result of you having a crash from your insulin spiking. That's a result. Because there's a difference between a hunger cue and then that hunger cue that turns into urgency. No hunger cues equals no chaotic cycle. Because that chaotic cycle comes from that hunger urgency that now you're just picking up any and everything. That's dangerous. Stabilizing your glucose means you have to stabilize your insulin. Glucose is what unlocks the cells so that way you can use all the energy inside those cells and it be distributed throughout your body. Insulin's role, move the glucose into cells. Move your glucose into cells. Glucose is something good when it's used to convert into energy. When you have a whole bunch of insulin and glucose is being recycled throughout your body, aka also the cells are being recycled as well. We've talked about this. That's dangerous. You do not want to reduce, reuse, and recycle in the body. You want to release. Repeated spikes cause your insulin to stay elevated. Chronic elevated insulin is going to cause fat storage and inflammation. Inflammation causes diseases. Thank you for the follow. So this is a whole snowball effect of you just not stabilizing your own body, specifically your insulin. Fat storage signals panic in the body when it comes to you having an overloaded inflammation. And that panic is sending signals to your nervous system. But when you stabilize your blood sugar, when you stabilize your insulin, rather, I keep saying blood sugar because blood sugar wants to come up. Blood sugar is not here yet. We're not talking about her yet. When you stabilize your insulin, your fat storage signals soften. So now you're not storing all this fat. Instead, you're being able to use and burn that fat. So that way you're actually using the food that you were eating. Energy becomes consistent. Your cravings are quiet and your hormones are going to regulate themselves because your body's going to be able to trust you and it's going to feel safe. Your nervous system is going to feel safe. Your immune system is going to be stabilized. It's going to be strong. It's going to be healthy. So when it's flu season or whatever season that people swear up and down they're getting colds and sicknesses and illnesses, you won't be dealing with that. And it's not because the flu season is a real thing, because I say this every time it gets cold and I'm going to stand 10 toes down on it. The reason why y'all get so sick during the wintertime is not because the weather shifts and it's not because it's flu season. It's because your immune system is so poor because you go through holiday after holiday of eating crap. Halloween is the first, and Halloween happens right around the time that the winter shifts, when the air starts to get colder, when it starts to get cooler outside. So you're eating a bunch of inflammatory junk. And you do that for about a month or so, give or take, depending on how much candy you get. You eat a whole bunch of Halloween candy. And then right after Halloween is Thanksgiving. Right after Thanksgiving, which you ate a whole bunch of crap for Thanksgiving and all those leftovers, which lead up to Christmas. And then around Christmas time, everybody's eating a bunch of junk for Christmas as well. And a bunch of candy and cookies and everything else for Christmas. And then guess what? New Year's happened and everybody's drinking. And then you wonder why January hits and everybody is sick. You have to really think about things and make the connection. It's not because it's cold outside. It's because everybody eats crap and we are taught to eat this crap every single year and do the same thing around the same time, and we get the same results. This is not theory. This is literal connections and education, and actually I was going to say observing is the word that I'm going to say. Observing your surroundings, being aware. You're knowing your physiology and your biology, and then unpacking that. That's how you get to a space of making those connections. Understanding where inflammation is coming from, understanding where your insulin resistance is coming from, understanding how people are getting diagnosed with diabetes. So the pieces that most people are missing when it comes to inflammation is that your blood sugar instability is driving inflammation. Inflammation disrupts your insulin signal. And that disrupted insulin signal is going to worsen your blood sugar's control. And so it's a continuous loop. And I have talked about this many different times of how obviously we know this. And if you don't know this, let's break down a little bit of the connection. Your kidney is obviously the regulator for your blood, right? And so your kidneys are supposed to filter your blood so that your blood is healthy. It's flowing well. It's flowing all the way to your heart, flowing to your brain. It's flowing where it needs to go, down to your feet. Because a lot of people have an issue with blood flow to their feet. I used to have it as well. Over time of you eating too much sugar and you having a whole bunch of sugar in your body, do you know that it literally coats everything inside of you? And so it coats it, right? And it's coating your body. And it is causing your blood to stick together, to stick to things, clots, for example. So you are having a stress response to those clots, to all that sugar. And do you know when you have things like diabetes and you know how you lose your eyesight or they have different issues with memory? Do you realize that's because all of that sticky blood, all that sugar-coated blood is now going to the eyes, to the brain? Because it's deeper than just, oh, I have too much sugar in my body. It literally coats everything and it calcifies. If you think of just like how there's if you think of like a tar, that's what it's like. And so inflammation stresses your cells out. Your cells respond poorly to insulin now that they're stressed out. Your glucose is going to stay elevated. Your insulin is going to increase from this space. And then guess what? It's going to worsen your inflammation. Thank you for the heart puffs. How are you doing, Elle? Welcome in. And so as those symptoms stack on top of each other, or rather, as those responses stack on top of each other, the reason why these symptoms are happening is because of the actions that you have towards food, towards products. And so why are these symptoms happening? Why are they stacking? Thank you for the shares and thank you for the likes, guys. I really appreciate it. If you are finding value in this, please tap the screen. I do appreciate you guys for helping us get more people in here. So why are they stacking? They are stacking and they're causing symptoms of bloating, fatigue, brain fog, abdominal weight, and hormonal disruption. And it's all because of the habits that you have. When you don't have anti-inflammatory lifestyle, but instead you have a very inflammatory lifestyle, you are going to reap the repercussions. I cannot speak today. The repercussions of you having that inflammation stressing your cells out, the cells responding to poor insulin. The poor insulin is causing the glucose to stay elevated. That glucose is not being able to be released and used inside those cells that have been unlocked. This is increasing your insulin in the body, and then inflammation is just going to keep going worse in a full cycle, like I said earlier. Anti-inflammatory habits is not something trendy and something that you need to get this anti-inflammatory lifestyle of this candle and this body wash, but understanding that it's about metabolic repair. Structuring your life so that your metabolism is not suffering. So that way this structure becomes something that is subconscious thought. Because structure with the anti-inflammatory habits, that structure is going to obviously lower that inflammation, but it's also going to cause a rhythm that helps your body trust you. So rhythmic nourishment, less cortisol spikes, less cortisol chaos, balanced meals, fewer glucose spikes. Eating whole foods are going to reduce your immune system's stress, because over 70% of your immune system lives in your gut. So when you stress your gut out with all terrible toxic foods, you are having an issue inside the gut now. The gut is going to directly affect the brain. Do we see how all the full connection of how your body works together? When you have intentional movement throughout your day, this is going to improve your insulin sensitivity. So if you are somebody who doesn't like to go to the gym or work out, because I am not a gym girly at all, being intentional with movement is the key for you to not only improve your insulin and take care of your body the way that you should be, but also to see how you don't have to do the most strenuous workout in order for you to take care of yourself, and how getting up and getting moving is not a punishment, but how simple it can be. You'll have consistent sleep patterns. For our people who don't get enough sleep or don't rest enough, even though they're sleeping enough, this causes hormonal repair when you get enough sleep, when you get consistent sleep patterns. Structure creates internal safety. And the body itself, when it feels that you are taking care of it correctly and giving it that safety, it can heal itself. And it can trust you to stay in a healing place. I don't teach this from a textbook or some kind of what I want to say, a makeshift course that is here that you can read offline and get the same information. I teach this from embodiment. I have been plant-based for over 5 years now. I have worked with clients that have had the same issues of dealing with blood sugar dysregulation, a whole bunch of inflammatory lifestyle habits, and wanting to get away from those those pain points and those symptoms. People who have been diagnosed or that are in this space where we were watching your labs, or you might need a surgery, we're going to give you this medication right now, that want that energy shift away from that don't want to wait until their new lab, don't want to have to wait until they get diagnosed with diabetes, but understand that when they get their inflammation lowered and they help their cycle regulate and they help themselves be able to keep in healthy weight and distribute healthy weight throughout the body, that's evidence. That's not a hype. That is not a gimmick. That is not diet culture. That is sustainable change. Structure provides predictable outcomes. But when you are following on diet culture, you have no structure. So what I actually provide with my clients, what I work with, what I help them with, is my work is different because it's not just about information and sending you off into the world going, okay, but building that structure of blood sugar regulation and having a framework around that. So understanding what your meals are going to provide for you, understanding that nutrients, food sequencing, understanding how we're going to have insulin stabilization. And the strategy behind that is reducing those spikes, improving your sensitivity, and supporting your metabolic flexibility so that helping your metabolism do its job. Having anti-inflammatory lifestyles and living systems in hand, so that way you have good food quality, gut support in your food, stress regulation, and have recovery rhythms, because your body, as you sleep, as you rest, is supposed to help you recover. So when it's not doing that, you're going to wake up fatigued. You're going to feel heavy and sluggish when you wake up. You're going to be bloated when you wake up. You're going to be bloated after you just drink water. Having habit architecture that turns your healthy choices into automatic patterns and not something that has to be a stressor every day. Oh, I have to stay in this calorie deficit and I have to sit here and I can't eat this and this and this. But now subconsciously being like, okay, I'm going to get moving around like 10 o'clock. That's every day. That's normal. This is normal for me to sit here and eat this. Not a salad, but it's normal for me to take care of my body and eat a nutritious meal full of different colors. Having that guided support and that accountability that I give you so you're not playing this guessing game and feeling alone is what I give in my program. It supports you in creating consistency. Consistency creates regulation in the body, and that regulation in your body allows you to create a space to reverse what you have going on and to stay away from there, to stay away from the issues that you have going on. So if you are somebody specifically, because I work with a whole lot of women are my main key clientele, okay? If you are a woman who is done collecting information, but you are done starting over and you are ready to get into a space of structure, stability, and have a body that trusts you and feels like it's giving back to you instead of turning against you, Go ahead and join my program. It is linked in my bio. Structure is something that is quiet, that happens is in a rhythm. Stimulation is loud. Structure gives you something that changes your biology, and it helps you be able to stop the quick fixes, these chasing these quick fixes, chasing these stimulations, chasing this I'm going to say this structure in a chaotic space that is built to not support you and sustain you, but instead look for metabolic changes. Understand how to learn your biology and to change according to your own biology. And if you were looking for a space to do that, my program is where we start doing that work. That is where we're going to build those sustainable habits so that you have that freedom through structure. Not some type of, oh, okay, I'm going to lack this and lack mindset, but structure and freedom. Because diet culture doesn't give you freedom through structure. Food becomes your medicine when you learn how to use it appropriately. If you were looking for the details on that and learning what's going to happen in the program, where we're going to do breakdowns, if you're looking for testimony as well, that is all linked in my bio. Go check out that metabolic reversal my metabolic reversal method that is linked in my bio. If you have any questions for me, please drop your questions down. If you're watching this later on YouTube, because I do post all of my past lives on YouTube, drop any questions that you have in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe to my email list if you have not. I send out a Wellness Wednesday every single Wednesday. I send out an email of all the things that I've been researching, looking up, any new information. You learn more things on my email list before anywhere else on social media, because I can get an email out quick. Social media is different with the videos and everything else. Go check that out. That is also linked in my bio. If you were looking for my Eating Away Diabetes cookbook, if you were looking just for more information on recipes and learning and breaking down A1C, breaking down anti-inflammatory habits, learning how to use food as your medicine, eating a rainbow plate, and getting that breakdown that is fully in that book, as well with the whole bonus section. That book is about 100 pages, maybe a little bit more. Go check that out. That is also linked to my bio. If you have any questions for me, please drop them down. And if not, I'm going to hop off. I appreciate you guys for all the likes. Thank you for the follows. Thank you for the comments. If any of the links are not working, please feel free to DM me. I need to go get my charger because my phone is dying, so I might not be here much longer. Any questions? And if you don't have any questions and this live has supported you and you have not followed, please go ahead and follow me. I hope that this live has supported you, first of all. I hope it has. I post on YouTube every single Tuesday and Thursday. So there will be a video going out today. It's already ready, scheduled to premiere. So if you have not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. You can check out the video from, I think it was from last week. If not, it was from Monday. It might have been from Monday. I think it was from Monday, actually. No questions from me? All right. I hope that you guys have an amazing rest of your Thursday.